So I sat with grandmother recently, and she told me things that I need to tell you. And this is my ode to the human condition of today. This talk will shed light on the thin veil of so-called reality and my perception of how the world actually works. A look behind the unseen methods of control that direct our lives without us being able to even perceive them. You see, very few people understand the complexity that runs the world today. For example, do you know what TCP/IP is? It's okay, I'll wait. You can Google it. It is the protocol that splits up packets of information into small chunks and sends them in a random order through a global network of computers that we call the internet. This information is then reconstructed perfectly on the other end for the receiver of that information to interpret. This is how the internet works. Do you know how falling water on a dam allows your phone to send magical videos through a flat slab of glass into your mind? The falling water creates a resonant frequency of energy called alternating current. This allows logic gates, which operate on a voltage differential to create a language of ones and zeros. This language creates the programming that sends the information through a frequency vibrator called an antenna, eventually ending up at an arrangement of luminescent liquid crystals to create the image on your screen. Jesus, that's complex as fuck. Do you understand how AI works? Let's take a stab at it. An arrangement of neural architecture hardware mimics the neurons in the human mind. This pseudo-mind is fed information with an understanding of the weighting of the importance of each piece of that information. Stay with me here. This compresses that original information into a model that is orders of magnitude smaller than the original library of information. Now, this model can then recreate an original response to an inquiry using its mental model of the information it was fed. My point is, the world today is so complex that we choose to live our lives through black boxes. Black boxes of complexity that we don't understand. But you see, those who understand it control our reality. I'm an electronics engineer. I have spent my life understanding the finer nuances of the infrastructure of science, technology, and society. And it was revealed to me that in order to take over the world by traditional means, one had to coerce millions of people. This was done throughout history, but it is very difficult because we have faith in each other's humanity, and it takes a lot to break that faith and to convince all of those people to give control to the person who wants to take it. For example, millions were coordinated in World War II to kill each other inhumanely, only to create a new world order based on the US dollar. Before that, millions were killed globally to implement the British world order. Now, this new world order that we're moving into is a technocratic world order. One based on the use of technology to create a new means of organizing the world. Soon, cyber attacks will allow a handful of people to use just a few hackers to take over the world. This takeover won't just be attacks on computers. It's an attack on the human mind. An attack on reality itself. Some have referred to it as a fifth generation war. One fought in the hearts and minds and souls and DNA of the human populace. Today, media controls what most people think. No one knows what the truth is. The more crazy shit you add into the mix, the harder it gets to know what reality is. In history, when tyranny has tried to take over, it does a few things specifically. It takes over the currency. It takes over the governance. It takes over the faith. And it takes over the media to create a false narrative of reality. Every empire in history has done this, and every government today is doing it. You ever think about Russians have Russian money? They have Russian narratives being fed to them. They have Russian rules of life that are unique to the Russian way. Russian religion, Russian nationalism, Russian media, a cohesive Russian reality crafted by those in power. Chinese have the same thing. Indians have the same thing. This same technique is being implemented globally to usher in a new global technocratic world order. They've already launched a one world currency. It's called cryptocurrency. It's supranational. It's beyond borders. They have completely reorganized how society works into a new system called the internet. It is supranational. It is beyond borders. They've literally taken over all the governments in the world to be able to coordinate them perfectly. Who do you think snapped their finger to shut down the entire world in a heartbeat, and how? They've launched a one world faith. It's called climate change. Now, let me be clear. I'm not saying protecting the earth is wrong. She is our mother. Living in harmony with her should be a prime directive for all of us. I'm just shedding light on how we are being reorganized into groups who have faith in concepts. This system of faith will be enforced by turning the concept of money into carbon credits. Let me explain. The carbon generated from everything you consume will be calculated, and money will be a means of paying for the usage of that carbon. And this world is coming fast. In this way, wealth will only flow in alignment with the climate change narrative. This new world order has one world media. It's called social media. When you see this stuff, it's so blatantly obvious. It controls the narrative of reality and the minds of the global population. This is the creation of a false reality. In this already chaotic world, something like cyber attacks would cause chaos beyond anything we can imagine. It would truly manifest World War III. And let's remember, world orders always change through a crescendo of war. Cyber attacks on the infrastructure of society, combined with pandemics, war, collapsing countries, a dying ecosystem, artificial intelligence, artificial metaverses, the breakdown of the masculine powers and the feminine powers, and the loss of faith in the US dollar will finalize the rebirthing process. Other than that, everything is going to be fine. If I had to put my tinfoil hat on, something like artificial alien invasion or synthetic thoughts being projected into our minds would really bring us together as one world to beg for a system to stop the madness. Cyber attacks are guaranteed, in my humble opinion. I attended an exercise called Cyber Polygon. It was a collaboration of global leaders speaking about the imminent cyber attack threat. They have a perfect track record of predicting the future. You see, a polygon is a thing used in graphics rendering to create an illusion of reality. Cyber polygon probably means creating an illusion of reality through cyber attacks. Just saying. The powers that be told us outright that cyber attacks are imminent and that it'll make us wish we could go back to the good old pandemic days. In history, when the movement of energy, money, people, goods, and governance breaks down, society goes into a full-on meltdown mode. Let's look at all the countries that have already melted down. Sri Lanka, Venezuela, Syria, Lebanon, El Salvador, Peru, and there's a laundry list of countries ready to melt down. There's 69 countries that are at risk of collapse within the next 2 years. 25 in Africa, 25 in Asia, and 19 in South America. This chaos will likely lead us into World War III. We will beg for a resolution which will conveniently be a new world governance structure based on technology. A technocracy. ISO 20022 is the governance structure of the future banking system. It facilitates the automatic control, reporting, taxation, and confiscation of wealth globally. It is also coded to take away the financial sovereignty of those who do not have the right structures in place to protect against it. Central bank digital currencies will program money to only be allowed to be used according to pre-set directives. Digital ID will be needed to access this new system and track those who don't comply. Social credit scores will be used in conjunction to guarantee this. Without these two, one will not be able to interact with society itself. The wall between the digital and the physical is becoming non-existent as we transition into the metaverse. The digital will manifest into the physical world with augmented reality, and the physical will be made digital with virtual reality. We will be able to experience an unlimited number of realities, at which point what is real shall fade into memory. Blockchain will block us and chain us using a global asset management system. The net and web has captured the entire world and cocooned into it and cocooned it to enjoy it as a snack. Artificial intelligence means your intelligence will be taking over. As more people rely on the artificial intelligence, it takes over the control of what intelligent minds think and create. Injecting you with a magnetically resonant substance called graphene that is magnetically attracted to your nervous system, and then beaming you with high frequency radiation could hypothetically be used as a method of transmitting information directly to your nervous system. Aldous Huxley's ideas about the best prison being the one that is built by the prisoners, for the prisoners, that they enjoy, is coming true. This is a prison of pleasure, not pain. It is a prison of comfort. It is a prison of convenience. It is a prison that utilizes the drug cabinet in our heads called dopamine, serotonin, and oxytocin to drug ourselves into a life of slavery. Social media has turned our children into addicts addicted to the hits of dopamine, no different than a heroin addict. Uncertainty of the future and the anticipation of that discovery has addicted us to technology. All this just to keep us from waking up to our infinite potential as infinite beings, quantum entangled with the entire universe. As the whole universe itself, we can manifest anything we want, literally. This is what we mean when we say power. Those who have actualized this infinite potential create their own reality. Those in power do not want the average person to have that power. That's why they manifest the universe they want, while the average person struggles day in and day out to feed their family. Those in power live in a universe without rules, without limitations, with the entire universe being in their control, and often without the care for the sanctity of human life, as they choose again and again to send millions to their death simply to achieve a world where they control all of the potential of humanity and coerce it to do their own bidding, to their own means. That's why we live to change it all. That's why we live to activate the infinite wells of potential, of love, of legacy that lies within us, untapped. To turn each soul's mission into a North Star guiding our actions, as we paint a beautiful masterpiece of legacy onto the canvas of our lives. Everything is always done in plain sight. So please, open your eyes to the power of you. That's what grandmother told me. She told me I had to tell you, because she's also your grandmother. And for those of you who don't know what I mean when I say I sat with grandmother, that's what the experience of sitting in an ayahuasca journey is called. She is the grandmother of wisdom. This lack of understanding of how the world works is promoted in this world. We all went to school, but they never taught us about money. They never taught us about credit. They never taught us about debt. They never taught us how to actually make money. They simply taught us concepts of how to get a job. It's free on the internet to learn these things. Yet the means of education in the world charge you and still don't tell you. And then we're sent hopelessly into the world as adults. And they ask you, all right, what do you want to be? What are you going to do? It's like, what do I want to be? I never even figured out who I am. And you never helped me. Did we ever have a class about how to figure out who I am? I had to go pay therapists for them to tell me I'm messed up. Well, why didn't you tell me while I was getting messed up? It would have been nice for somebody to be like, hey, they're going to mess you up. Who are they? Your parents? Okay, great. Thanks for telling me, dude. Now I'll control the messing up while it's happening. How does our life work? Who cares? It works. It just works. I just use it. Why do I need to know how it works? Because if you don't know how it works, the one who knows how it works makes it work. And you don't know who's making it work the way that they want it to work. So how does life work today? Spend your life in school learning how to get A's and not being a failure. Never get an F because everybody will laugh at you. Be really good at passing tests and doing exactly what you're told, exactly how you're told. If you get really, really good at that, you will get to go to another place where you will pay even more money to repeat the same process. When you become an adult and you become so good at following exactly what authority has told you, you will then be sent out into the world with probably a large amount of debt to do something you don't like to do. For something that doesn't even exist, which is numbers on a screen called money. And the only right way to think about it is to always think about trading the single most precious resource on earth, life, for numbers on a screen that you don't even know how the screen works to put that number on there. Repeat that 8 hours a day for your entire life. And then when you're 65, you can enjoy your knee problems fully. What a beautiful idea. And all of us just went, yeah, that sounds great. Sign me up, please. I'd love that. Never thinking, who the hell came up with that idea? Then they said, sign up for this website. We said, why? They said, you can share unnecessary amounts of information about yourself with strangers who don't care. And we said, why would I do that? And they said, because they'll click a button with a thumb on it, and you'll get lots of thumbs that point up. And we went, oh my God, this is so genius. Let me spend my life getting thumbs that are up from people who I don't know. Let me do you one better. I'm not even going to do anything to get the thumbs. I'll just be the one giving the thumbs. I'll sit when I come back from my job that I hate, and I will watch something and get high off of the dopamine of watching it. And then I will point my thumb up, and then I will watch the next thing. And I will consume, and I will consume, and I'll consume and consume and consume. I'll consume the resources of the earth. I'll consume the food. I'll consume the water. I'll consume my life. I will consume the attention. I will consume the media, consume the ideas, put them all within myself so that I can get to bed and go to sleep, because I got to wake up in the morning to go do that thing I hate. That sounds about right for reality. Apparently that's reality. Go to a school that makes you dumb, visit a hospital that makes you sick, and doctors that give you poison. Eating food that is poisoned, pre-poisoned upon itself. Shut down my own business. Close down my own country. Don't hug grandma because I'm a hero protecting other people. When you look at the craziness of the human condition today, it will be written in history books. And we will look back at these times like we do at lobotomy and think, that was how people chose to live? But once you start to understand these means of control, and you start to become skilled at using these systems, then things change. It was so interesting meeting my friend from university. He just visited Bali after not seeing him for about 10 years. He was your classic university student, very smart guy, studying medicine, but staying in the box, always thinking within the matrix. And I showed him a little known documentary called Zeitgeist that sent him down the rabbit hole. It completely shifted his perspective on the means of control that runs the world. From that moment until now, it completely changed his entire life. It changed how he operates. It changed how he thinks and where he lives and how he directs his life. Because he woke up to the idea that someone is controlling his reality. And to him, that is a no. And waking up to that reality allows you to then decide, what am I going to do to take that control back? So what did he do? He spent his life learning about how it all works. And then, once he got good at understanding how it works, or good enough, he started building it. And his reality today is in 1 week, for 40 minutes, to tap a screen, filling out documents, and he makes $40,000 a week. That's $1,000 per minute of work. And he had no special privileges. None of us did. We all just figured out a way to manifest the world we want in this reality. And it comes from understanding how it works and then creating. Not consuming, creating. There are two types of people in the world. There are consumers and there are creators. Look at your life, your day-to-day life. How much of that day is spent consuming and how much is spent creating? This has been profound in my life. As I started to pick away at all the moments when I was consuming, I realized I'm consuming a reality crafted by someone else. Sometimes it's nice. I like a medium rare reality crafted by a chef. Happy to let him craft that one. Compliments to the chef. But then I was watching myself listen to narratives on YouTube and other places crafted by somebody else. And even though I agreed with them, that's why I watched them, right? I could tell this is not what I want. So then I just started creating more, creating ideas, creating poetic odes, creating experiences, creating conversations, creating systems, creating peace, creating creativity in my life. And it's profound. Because our entire world is being crafted at this point, and we're moving into a world where all of experience will be crafted. And I mean your entire reality of what you see, what you hear, what you smell, what you touch, what you taste, what you feel in your psyche will all be crafted in a future world where the digital invades our minds and souls. Now you're probably thinking, wait, but aren't you the guy who tells me about all this stuff, is all excited about all this technology stuff? Look, I'm a dualist. I create these systems with this understanding. You know, it's interesting. So many of these tech execs have islands in the middle of nowhere. And it's been a weird pattern for the last 10, 15 years where you hear Peter Thiel is building something on New Zealand. And the exec of Facebook left Facebook and went and bought an island in Canada and built a house. And you're like, wait, why are you guys going and building islands? It's because when you peek under the hood of reality in the world that works today, you understand that it's leading us down to a place where eventually you're going to need a house on a private island for a little bit while this revolution happens. Because it happens slowly, and then all of a sudden, this is what we mean when we say the exponential age. Exponentiality is a parabolic curve that looks like it's flat for a long time as humanity has developed over centuries to get us to the foot of the curve, which we're experiencing now. And between now and 40 seconds from now, we go asymptotic on the y-axis. In that change, those who understand what is driving that change and what is coming in the future of that change can win, or at least thrive and prosper. This is why I harp on about what is coming in this world that's coming up. So let's talk solutions. The net was released to give people freedom. Many of us used it to create freedom. Many of us used it to catch fish, technologically speaking, and feed our families and other people's families. Others got caught in the net, and that's where people are finding themselves today, hooked into this behemoth matrix that sucks your attention and time out of you to turn you into a product. But there are those who use the net to catch fish, to build systems of freedom, to build the ability for us to share this wisdom today and learn it. Many missed that whole opportunity because it was the first time that this powerful of a technology was released upon humans, and we simply did not grasp the magnitude of the change that it would bring to people's lives. And by the time it happened, it was too late. That was nothing compared to what is coming within the next 8 years. Between now and 2030, so it's 7 years now. I never really know which year I'm in. I always know I'm here and now, at today o'clock, now o'clock, at today of the week. What were we even talking about? The magnitude of the shift that is happening now will make all of the technological development that's happened until now become a faint memory. Now, as we transition into this world of a different experience, where humans connect through means of each other's presence represented digitally, how do you want to represent yourself? What is it that you see as your ideal life? And does that life add value to other people's lives in the world? And if you can find that sweet spot where you see an amazing life for yourself, doing something that adds value to other people's lives, you can make that your entire life. Let me give you an example. I've decided I want my life to live. And you're like, okay, what? Sensei, what are you talking about in circles? I want my life to be that my job is to live an amazing life, which for me is great meals and great places, having great conversations with great people, great experiences. How does that add value to people's lives? Well, we could live an exemplary life and show people that you could do good things with your money and do good things with your time and do good things with your attention and spirit. So I'm going to make people laugh. Hopefully I've made you laugh once in a while by mistake. We're building systems that revolutionize the way farming is done so it can improve farmers' lives while at the same time feeding people. We're building systems to change the way mining is done so the earth doesn't get raped while we still dig out the things that we need. We're using money to feed people in government houses where the elderly and the mentally disabled are taken care of. We're literally helping investors make a return by helping feed the most needed souls, the souls in the most amount of need in society. That is life today. And for me to say I crafted that life perfectly, no, I just surrendered to the universe. But I did set out that vision that my North Star is building a better world where you feel good doing things that help people. But that still makes my life sitting in front of a computer a lot. So now I've decided part of that experience is going to be guiding people through these amazing experiences of life, taking them to amazing places, waking them up to their infinite potential, guiding them through amazing deep journeys that change their lives, and then adding them into groups of driven, activated individuals so we can march together towards a better world using our skills and hearts and souls to manifest that reality that we're all putting attention and energy on. And I know, like, when I used to hear this stuff, I'd be like, next YouTube video, please. What do you want me to sit here in the secret and imagine an amazing world and positive world and it'll just come to me on my couch? No, I had to get off the couch. And then I had to walk step by step by step. I would come home from work. Me and the people who work with me would go home. I would go home to achieve one step towards my long-term mission of creating this amazing life. I would read a book, learn a concept, practice, try new skills, Do something to take that step. My friend from work would go home and it was the next episode of Tiger King. And then he finished that episode and I finished my step. And then you watch the next episode. Because, man, Tiger King was good, apparently. Right? Tiger King, wow, it's a king of tigers. Gotta watch it. I moved on to the next step. Did that every weekend, every evening. Did it before going to work. For 15 years, it did nothing. Or it looked like it was doing nothing. It looked like I was in the same spot selling cell phones. And then one day, the universe answered. And randomly sent a billionaire into my life. A billionaire looking to do exactly what I had been practicing my whole life, to build a cannabis company in Canada because they legalize weed. And this pothead that had been smoking weed for 13 years, who was just a pothead, watching documentaries and shit, apparently became one of the premier cannabis experts of Canada, of the globe. So like Messi said, I practiced for 13 years and became successful overnight. But even then, it wasn't success. I remember being in Canada in my 12th story flat apartment, as we call it some places, looking out of the window down at downtown Calgary, one of the most beautiful places with some of the most beautiful, amazing people in one of the most prosperous countries on earth, in an industry that's crushing it as a global expert, and feeling like shit. Because internally, I had not fallen in love with myself yet. I had spent all this time externally moving towards a goal, but internally still wasn't fully in love with myself. I loved myself. I dated myself. You know, we saw each other. We're kind of like friends with benefits with each other. And everybody was like, "You're so successful. You're so successful, man. You must be so successful." And I would look at them and think, dude, you have a family, you have children, you have a mother, you have a father, you have love, you have care, and you're happy to go through life the way that you're going through it. You're the one who's successful. I don't have a mother, I don't have a father, I don't have a wife, I don't have a child. I go home alone to myself. All I have is money. You see, some things in life, there are many things in life that are more important than money, but they are so expensive. There are many things in life that are more important than money, yet they are so expensive. And then the realization came to me that sometimes making more money is too expensive. What if I told you I'll give you $1 billion, but you'll have to give me all 24 of your hours? Is it worth it? What if you tell a billionaire, I'll give you an extra 24 hours in your day, and you have to give me all of your money? Do you think he would do it? So then I had to think, what is it that I want to do with my life that allows me to have my time? And for me to spend my time doing the thing I love. Because if you do what you love, then you will never work a day in your life. And then had no idea. And Spirit told me November of 2019 in the mountains. It said, sell everything and move to Bali right now. Wait, what do you mean sell everything? I just spent 5 years building this company. What do you mean sell everything and move to Bali right now? It said, sell everything and move to Bali right now. We've never guided you wrong. If you really want to trust the universe and surrender to the universe, take a little bit of your belongings and go to a remote place not knowing why you're going there. Okay. I'm crazy like that. Not the craziest thing I've done in my life, but pretty close. Let's go. Sold everything. Even that selling everything, the experience of selling everything you think you own, it is liberating beyond words. I physically could sense the release of the shackles from my limbs when I was sitting there on just an air mattress with nothing else, with 2 bags, one bag with 3 shirts, 3 shorts, and 3 underwear, and shoes, 1 pair of shoes, and 1 pair of flip-flops, 1 bag with a bunch of survival gear that I had prepared with, and nothing else. And I felt like what birds must feel like, with the lightest bones and a frame that could float away by mistake on a windy day, with a one-way ticket to the land of Bali that I had only seen on Instagram, to a vacation that I never hoped to return from. I landed February 24th of 2020 in Bali. 6 days later, this thing happened. I don't know if you've heard. March of 2020, this weird thing happened. The entire world that I was taught to live in promptly melted down and became a completely different world. And I came to Bali and I met the most amazing people I've ever met in my entire life. Constantly. Just the most amazing conversations, amazing thoughts, amazing variety of creativity, amazing viewpoints from so many different places. But you could see something special in the people who stayed in Bali in the middle of the pandemic. Because at that time, the rhetoric was, run, Indonesia has a terrible health infrastructure. This thing's going to kill everybody. Go back to these Western countries. But the souls who stayed were these with steel cojones that said, I will die on the hill that I stand on, but I shall create the life the way that I want. And I've determined that I want to live on a paradise island close to a beach, and I'll figure it out. Again, fully surrendered to the universe. But with the intention in my heart to leave a legacy on the world of fundamentally changing lives. Fundamentally changing the direction of humanity. And I came from a mud house in India. I was born in an auto rickshaw, a tuk-tuk. You guys know tuk-tuk? Those things in India where they're like, put, the 3-wheelers, if you've been to India. I was born in one of those. Popped out in front of the hospital. You know, I rush. I like to get to places early. I like to get to meetings early, even as a baby. Then I was raised in a mud house where we put adobe on our walls and the rain would wash it away. And I'm sitting here today telling you this story because there is absolutely no excuse. If you have 2 working arms and 2 working legs and 2 working eyes and nothing is horribly wrong with you, you are so privileged in this world. If you're listening to this through an internet connection on a device that's probably expensive, you are so privileged. If you make more than $100,000 a year, you are in the 1% of the world. The 1%, where 99 souls that look at you wish they had your life. Make with it what you want out of your life. And the way we do it is we learn about this future. Okay. If the future is that people are going to be consuming more and more, especially in the form of content, then create content. If you're like, that's not my jam, I like working with my hands, create things with your hands. If you're somebody who likes working with people, can you imagine how important it's going to be to have the people who work with people in a world where people will be mostly communicating with artificial intelligences? If you're somebody who is a creative, is an artist, you write, you draw, you create movies. Well, now we have tools for you to exponentiate that ability. Learn to use these tools. And we're going to hold tutorials on how to use these tools because it's just such high demand right now. And it's necessary. As an investor, you can look towards the direction that history is telling us we're going to go towards. And then you can plan out, how do I want to deploy my capital? What kind of stuff do I want to do with it? What kind of stuff is going to be more useful in the future? If you feel lost in this world that we're in today, please dig not into the world. Dig into yourself. Really sit with yourself. Look at how many moments you have in life where you simply sit with yourself and you hear those whispers of the you within that screams out. One of the most efficient things I've found is to just sit and stare at a sunset. Because the sunset, it tells you everything you need to know. When you tune into a deeper state of peace and calm and really listen, you will be told through your intuition what you should do. And it's profound. There's times when it tells me things which I do not want to hear, but I face them. And then I go tell my coach, I'm like, Coach, my intuition said this. And he's like, yeah, I've been telling you that for the last year, but thanks for listening to your intuition, guy. Are you sure that's not just me repeating it back to you? And I'm like, what do we do about it, Coach? And he's like, what you always do. Something. Just do something about it. Thanks, Coach. Why do I even have you? Find mentors that can guide you. And please find the right mentors. Please find the right mentors. Because the greatest minds of history have left their knowledge in such digestible manners at arm's reach for us. But it's always hidden behind the veil by the algorithm. Because this technological world wants to coerce you into giving your time and attention to the thing that makes the most amount of ad revenue. But if you tell it, if you go into YouTube and it's showing you dumb things and you go thumbs down, ellipses, not interested, ellipses, not interested, thumbs down, then type in whatever it is that resonates with you. How to create more wealth in my life, how to create more health in my life, how to do what I do better, how to learn something I know I want to do better. And then when you watch it, go thumbs up. I like that. Over time, the system learns who you are and it delivers to you more and more of that content. Even that functionality is so alien to people that you can actually control with your responses what is being fed to you from this feed. It's called a feed. It feeds you. So what are you feeding yourself? Because what you feed in is what will be projected back out into your reality. That old saying, garbage in, garbage out. So start feeding in the right curated knowledge with a purpose to drive you towards a mission. Figure out what your North Star is. And we are going to take you through that process. This process with the elevation barn that I went through, which was profound, has been crafted from processes that coaches charge hundreds of thousands of dollars to take people through. And we are going to bring it to you for free. And many, many are bringing it to you for free. It's not something special. It's just hard to find. It is going to help determine our North Star, personal to ourselves. We can use that North Star to clarify what it is in our lives that is driving us towards the North Star and what is driving us away from the North Star. Then we can break it down into pillars of action and areas that we need to impact in life. Then we'll break it down to steps to take. Then we'll break down those steps into smaller steps. Then we'll organize those steps into order of importance. And then you find the most important step and you take that step. And then tomorrow, you take it again. And then the day after, you take it again. Step by step by step. When we start living like that, and then we add in the ability to learn about this world, it profoundly changes our perception of reality, because reality is no longer happening to you. You are happening to reality. It doesn't happen to you. It's happening for you, because you are controlling it. You ever think about this? We go through life thinking the past creates our present, right? The world has told us your past is creating your present reality. And in many ways, that's true. That seems obvious, right? My actions in the past are creating my reality today. It isn't not true. But let's flip that on its head. What if the present is creating the past? Because there's nothing you could do in the past to change the present today. You didn't even know that today was going to happen. But you damn well sure can do something today so that when today becomes yesterday and you're in that tomorrow, what you did today will have changed what your yesterday becomes. So the present is like the bow of a ship. Life is the ship, and the bow of the ship is the present. It creates the wake left behind by our ship. But you're the captain. Take it wherever you want, captain. But you know one thing about captains? They always know where the ship is headed. You never ask a captain, hey, captain, where's the ship headed? And he goes, oh, that way, I guess. Which the ocean will take me. He never goes, the ship is just happening to me. The captain's happening to the ship. And the captain knows the destination. That's why the captain knows how to guide the ship. The sad reality of the world is we're not piloting our own ships. Something else is piloting our ships. Someone else is piloting our ships. And you know what's crazy? We know that someone else is piloting our ship. But we let them because we don't know how to take back that control. The first step is being aware that you are the ship. You are the universe, the entire universe. You are quantum entangled, mathematically speaking, with the entire universe. So you're the whole ship. then to realize, why is it that I don't know how to guide my own ship? And often, when you really dig down, you realize you don't trust yourself because you don't know yourself. And I'm speaking from experience. I'm going through this journey myself. I've had to spend the last decade of my life trying to discover who I am, only to find out that I keeps changing every day. So then I had to find out, what are my pillars at least? Keeps changing every day, but what is it based on? Once that became clear, then I had to figure out, which destination do I want my ship to go? And Joe Dispenza's meditations were so powerful in that process, to be able to allow me to be able to meditate on that reality, create it in my mind's eye and live it, not want it, not wish for it, live it and know that it exists and experience it and enjoy it and be thankful for it. What that did is that told my being, my existence, hey, this guy's already happy about living a fulfilled life the way that he sees it. He's already thankful for it. He must already have it. And then reality bent itself to create that which I know to be true. And all this, if this sounds like the ramblings of a crazy mind, yeah, this is what happens to you after you sit with grandmother. Or you just sit with the other side of the universe 1,000 times over. It peels reality inside out and lays it in front of you where you can barely explain it in English. That's why philosophers go crazy. But if you're listening to this, you're part of the very few people who are awake to this reality. And I just want to commend you on taking control of your own ship, of sitting in the pilot seat of your own vessel. And it is terrifying as fuck. Because you could bottom the ship. You could crash it. You could kill somebody with it. You could kill all of that, 100%. And guess what? One day the ship is going to completely blow up. That destination is for sure guaranteed. But all of that doesn't matter, does it? What we fear, we need to face. So do you fear AI? Face it. Do you fear technology? Face it. Do you fear change? Face it. Do you fear your own decision-making capacities? Face it. Do you fear your past? Oh, really face that. Really face that. Because once you face those demons that scare the shit out of you, you become that much more powerful. If you're scared of a dog, right? A lot of people have a fear of dogs. Try this. Next time a dog comes barking at you, just stand there with a dead look on your face. Don't flinch. Just stand there. Face it head on and let the dog run at you. And watch what it does. The dog will realize he or she is not scared of me. And the dog will create a space of respect around you. And if you continue with that, the dog will just give up on trying to scare you. Because you're so stable in your own being. The world is a dog. It's trying to bark at you. It's trying to scare you. It's coming at you fast. And it makes you want to run. But like a dog, the worst thing you can do in these times is to just turn around and run and go back to what is comfortable, to what is convenient, to what you know. Those who run headlong into this change smiling and laughing, even when they fall on their faces, get through the storm to the other side where there are beautiful beaches. And the world is now waking up to the idea that for the first time in history, like my friend who does it, you can take this tip of your thumb, this like just the under part of your nail, and you can tap it on glass like this, like this. This is how you do, by the way, tutorial, like this. Sometimes like this. I mean, I'm left-handed. You probably do it like this. And you can live whichever life you want. That's a fact. But what if you do this? Instead of this, you go like this. Start applying this much power to create the world you want. You're all hands on deck for yourself and for those you love to move towards a direction with undying confidence that you shall create exactly the life that you want. It fundamentally changes everything that happens around you. Because this whole modality of control, this whole infrastructure of control that is being built, it is only being built. It cannot force you to give up your own control. That choice is up to us. So what do we do? I don't know. You're asking the wrong guy. I just went on a whole monologue about this shit. Go back and watch this recording, please. I don't know what you should do. I barely know what I should do. But I do know this. I only do what aligns with my soul, with my heart. In Indian culture, in Punjabi culture, we have this concept. It says, the crowd that follows me to my funeral will dictate what I did with my life. That's a good way for me to live. I won't even really care about the crowd that follows me to my funeral, because hopefully by that time, most people I care about will have died. I take that back. I'll probably care about my children and stuff. But the idea of doing what is in alignment with your soul's mission and just living it every day. And then when it gets tough, when you get put through the shit and it is difficult and there's no end in sight and you want to cry like I used to do in Calgary, being thankful for that goes a very long way. In that very moment, to just think, okay, so many bad things have happened to my life. So many quote unquote bad things. But when I look at them with some distance and perspective, they made me who I am today. They crafted me into this special human being. It's the tough times that really make you. If they were so amazing for me and brought me to here today, then this thing that's happening to me today that feels so bad, will it not also be a pivotal point in my life that moved me towards a change which became positive in the end? So in that moment of going through the shit and being put down and whatever you may feel, because we all feel it, turn around and thank the universe. Thank yourself for creating such a beautiful game that makes you cry sometimes. Because when you do that, the universe hears it and goes, okay, well, so this is the real you. When I make you cry, how you treat people and how you treat yourself and how you treat existence defines who you really are, not when everything is good and happy and stuff. And if you hold strong in that state, on the other side will be serendipitous collisions with amazing souls who can take you places. And this future will be defined by two types of realities. One is an artificial, crafted existence of convenience and comfort and control based on cryptocurrencies and craziness. And then another world will be a world of activated souls who took control of their own reality and created a way of existing by living it through their own efforts that will create a beauty in the world that we can barely fathom. Because these times of turbulence, every time in history that they've come, as painful as they've always been, and the level of loss that they always come with, on the other side created generations of prosperity that would be unimaginably magical for previous generations. A vast majority of the population today lives in a higher quality of life than the kings of old. On the other side of a lot of this turbulence is a world that is so beautiful in so many ways that we simply can't fathom it today. You know how I know? I'm going to make it. And there's a million me's crazy enough to spend their entire day focused on a hallucination of that beautiful world. And I'm working with them. And if you're one of them, call me. We got things to do. So life is a beautiful masterpiece of legacy that we paint onto the canvas of our life. That's cyclical, isn't it? Life is a beautiful masterpiece of legacy that we paint onto our lives. Yes, it's a paradox. That's all life is. Life is one big paradox. If something doesn't make sense, if nothing makes sense, remember this. Nothing does make sense. Nothing makes a lot of sense. Nothing makes sense. Hopefully that made sense. And we'll see you next time for ramblings of a psychedelic mind. And until then, guide your beautiful ship.